I talked about the China-US trade war for a week, and both my audience and I were feeling exhausted. As if she read my mind, my goddess Palki Sharma came up with a new topic. Her Vantage released a video about India preventing China from dumping cheap goods. My goddess kept her usual charm in the video, looking like every viewer owed her $2 million, with a tired expression. But as her fan, I love watching her videos, especially that creditor-like look. The video's content was simple. The China-US trade war has escalated, with both countries slapping tariffs over 100% on each other, making it tough for Chinese goods to sell in the US. Goods need to go somewhere. So what does China do? Dump them in other countries. As a big nation, India would be a prime victim of China's dumping. To fight this, India plans to use tariffs to curb China's dumping and shield its local industries. Honestly, my goddess has a knack for spouting nonsense with a straight face, and that's her charm. When I'm worn out after a week and want to relax on the weekend, I turn on First Post to watch her videos. Those clownish statements that defy human intelligence always make me burst out laughing. My job is to share this joy with my audience, not keep it to myself. First, Palki Sharma is correct that the high tariffs China and the US impose on each other are basically an embargo. US goods can barely sell in China anymore, but China can find other suppliers. For meat, soybeans, and other farm products, China can buy from Brazil, Russia, Argentina, or Spain. For energy and minerals, China can turn to Middle Eastern countries, Russia, or Australia. Meanwhile, China's exports to the US, having endured long-term pressure from the Trump and Biden administrations, are mostly irreplaceable. Take the iPhone. It's technically a Chinese export to the US, but it's an American company's product, and China's production capacity is unmatched. Apple and Foxconn have floundered in the Bharat Empire for years, getting nowhere beyond being extorted and fined by Indians. 90% of iPhones are still made in China. After the trade war intensified, Apple airlifted loads of iPhones and iPads from China to stockpile. Chinese exports like electronics, machinery, and parts are generally hard to replace. Look at dishwashers or range hoods, common kitchen items. Only China's huge domestic market can nurture manufacturers, letting them grow, tap China's strong supply chain, and develop cheap products for the US market. No matter how high the tariffs, Americans will still buy them. Second, Palki Sharma thinks Chinese goods unsold in the US will flood India. That's pure narcissism. How many Indians even know what a dishwasher or integrated stove is? In a society where people struggle to eat and half lack toilets, can they really take over the US's share of Chinese products? If Japan, South Korea, Europe, or even Southeast Asia complained about China dumping unsold US-bound goods, it might be plausible. But the Bharat Empire dreaming of replacing the US as the victim of China's dumping? It's not up to the task. Palki Sharma even brought up toys, saying a toy costs $3, but Chinese sell it abroad for $2, and that's dumping. She's been in the Bharat Empire too long and doesn't get US prices. Forget toys. An egg can sell for $2. Doesn't she know what American toys cost? A mini excavator or balance bike selling for hundreds of dollars in the US is standard. That's how American families spend. For India, with the world's largest extremely poor population, many earning less than $5 a day, how can it replace US market demand? You need qualifications to be a victim. Those shoddy, cheap goods flooding India's market aren't sent by Chinese. Indian vendors order them from China. Nobody buys that stuff in China. It's custom-made for Indian consumers. Clear enough? Third, Palki Sharma insists China needs India's support, saying Xi Jinping called for a dragon elephant dance, so India can tax China without retaliation. I don't know where her confidence comes from. Modi was publicly shamed by Trump, hit with tariffs to his face. Back in India, anxious. He sent S. Jaishankar to contact Wang Yi, only to be met with cold indifference. Later, in an interview, Modi said India was open to healthy competition with China, striking a conciliatory tone. Xi Jinping only wrote a letter to India's president on the 75th anniversary of China-India ties, expressing friendship, just diplomatic pleasantries. But in my goddess's mouth, it's China cozying up to India. In truth, Modi's string of anti-China moves, acting as America's guard dog, got India a thrashing from China. China not only schooled the Indian army at the border, but also banned high-tech firms from investing in India, blocked technology transfers, and even barred Foxconn's technical staff from working there. After China upped its countermeasures, its exports to India didn't suffer. The trade surplus kept growing. The Bharat Empire relies on Chinese goods and components. Its industry lacks competitiveness, and it can't break free from China. Fourth, Trump has called Xi Jinping a good friend, invited him to visit, and tried to call him, all without success. If Xi brushes off Trump like that, why would he bother flattering a third-rate country like India? Spain's prime minister is visiting China. Von der Leyen is set to visit in July, and Xi's next stops include Malaysia to strengthen ASEAN ties, then Russia, and talks with Japan and South Korea on trade. India's nowhere on his packed schedule. A beggar nation on the world's fringes brags that China values it highly. China doesn't even have minister-level officials planning to visit India. Chinese tech firms like BYD have flatly denied any plans to invest in India, debunking Bharat fans' rumors about BYD investments. Chinese worry about the US, Japan, Russia, even Vietnam or Mexico impacting their manufacturing. But India? Never a concern. Mention India, especially the Indianization of Silicon Valley, and Chinese instantly feel confident, tossing out jokes, certain of victory. Finally, I hope my goddess takes a hard look at the Bharat Empire's place in the world and checks how many countries respect India. If even one decent major power takes India seriously, I'll admit defeat. You can discuss China, criticize China, or curse China's collapse to the US. But please, don't use the Bharat Empire to leech off China's topic for clout. That's an insult to China.